there was atheistic evolution. And these guys basically don't believe really that God created anything like that. It's more like a science point of view on creation. So we're going to start there. And this is the thing. What are some of the problems with atheistic evolution? They think in two different kinds of evolution. Microevolution, basically they're just a few adjustments in species. Like they don't actually change from one species to another completely different. They just adjust, right? But there is also what they call macroevolution. Have you ever heard of that? They actually believe that one species evolves completely into another species. And that's what they think about us. Like, and yes and no. They don't really say that we come from monkeys, but they believe that both monkeys and us have one common ancestor. Like there was this thing, whatever it was, and this thing, no, not the caveman, not that. There was this whatever species, and from that species, basically it started changing. From one lane, we had all the Cro-Magnon and all of those different changes that we had as a human species. And then there was another change that was different size, and that was where the monkeys came from. So we have a what they call the missing link. Have you ever heard that term? The missing link? Alright. That's what they say. Like there was these species and it started to change, but a completely different species came out of that link. It's like if you say, oh yeah, my dog, yeah, before my dog was actually born, he was a dinosaur back in the day. Oh, alright. A dinosaur? Yeah. And I was a dog? Yeah, people. He said so. No problem. So that's what they were saying about that. Now, Charles Darwin, this is the thing. All of you probably know about Charles Darwin, right? And some of you think like, oh, that's my hero, or man, that was really cool what he said. There's a thing, really. Charles Darwin, yes, he was talking about evolution, and yes, he did talk about animals, but there was something behind all of that talk, behind the book. All of us know the book Charles Darwin has on the origin of species by means of natural selection. That's all we know as their name, but the full name of the book is this: On the Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection, or the Preservation of Favorite Races in the Struggle for Life. What he was really talking about, and that book, what was really pointing towards, was white supremacy against everyone else. That was the story behind it. Because that's what we know about that. Right now, like, Darwin wrote this book 1859. We, in 2000, that's all we hear about. Oh yeah, the animals. He wasn't really talking about the animals. That was just part of what he wrote. But there was more into the book than just that. Back in the day, do you remember those days, 1800s? Or, I know, but have you seen the movies? There were boats, and they were like, you actually had to row those big boats. Who was rowing those boats? You remember?
Slaves.
Slaves. Who? It was a white slaves?
No, it was black people.
Right. That was the thing behind it. Why wasn't black people rowing those boats? Because back then they were thinking like, oh, because we are the strongest, because we are the supreme race. That was really behind the book. It was not just about giraffes and monkeys and the fittest of the strongest animals. We were part of those animals, and we were stronger than everyone else. That's why we're ruling the whole world. That's what they will tell you about this book. Alright? So, the Bible does not reject science. They really don't. There is some sort of science in the Bible, or science and faith actually agree in some points. The problem is naturalism. The Bible doesn't agree. Because God created us, all of us, equal. Men and women. Black, white, yellow, brown. We are all made in His image, says the Bible. More things about it. This is the thing. Atheist evolution believes and contradicts itself because they think the world was just created. The Big Bang? Oh yeah, something exploded. What? What exploded? So they cannot explain how nothing created everything. Now, in real life, we know that really doesn't work, right? If, I know, no one of you does this, but let's say you have weed in your car, and the cops bust you. What about that weed? It was not there a minute ago. It just, poof, it just appeared right there. You think they will buy that? No, right? If I don't know nothing, you want this thing you saw in a store. You want it really bad. Mom, can I have it? No. Dad, can you buy it for me? No. A week later, it's in your room, and they didn't buy it, and they said, "How'd that thing got here?" I know that. It just showed up in here. My new PS3 showed up, and I don't know how that happened. Are they gonna buy that?
No.
Of course not. So how come we believe that everything we have, everything we see, everything we know came from nothing? It just doesn't make sense. The design of something speaks of its creator. Whenever, if you're an artist and you came up with something, it tells something about you. Picasso's paintings say something about Picasso, right? Apple says something about Steve Jobs. It always does. So the whole world we know, the whole universe, says something about God, the Creator.
And how they got here.
Huh?
And how they got here. How they got here.
That's the question we will never know. Why? Because He was here before everyone else. And it's like, simply as this. Do you understand everything your mom and dad does? Do you understand all their decisions? No. Why not? Give me a reason. Why sometimes it's so hard to understand why they do what they do? Why?
Because we weren't there when they started doing it.
One point. Any other reason? Why you don't get what everything your mom or dad does?
You don't think the
Because
same.
they were old and we're young.
You don't think the same. We're not old enough. Same thing with God, guys. He is eternal. He's always been there. Obviously, He's more powerful, more smart than us. We are not gonna get it. Don't try to understand it. Have you ever been in a class where the teacher is so incredibly smart and he talks in a way like, dude, what are you saying? Like, I'm sorry, I don't think that way. I'm too dumb for you. Have you ever been there?
Yeah.
Yeah, why? Man, they have like 10 degrees and you haven't finished high school. They're like, dude, I don't get it. Hold on. Talk English, please, right? Same thing. The Bible says God's ways are not our ways. God's thinking is not our thinking. If you are planning on figuring God's thinking, you're doomed. But it's not going to happen. How? What's the word I'm looking for? How non-cool would it be if you could figure it out with God? That wouldn't be much for God, right? Like, oh, yeah, sure. Oh, you can do that? Oh, me too. But then, what is that? What is so special about that? He parted the seas. Go ahead, you try that. Oh, man, I cannot part the seas. I cannot even part my suit. Right? All right. Rain manna from the skies. bread from the skies. He fed the Israelites. No, manna. Manna. Read your Bible.
You said bread or bread?
It's bread. Bread.
Oh.
All right. I don't know. Turn water into wine. That would be cool for the parties, but I cannot do that. Yeah, that's why he's God and you're not. Get my point? All right. Now, another.
God's like the Big Bang. Like, instead of the Big Bang happened when there was nothing.
All right, we'll get there. Good point. We'll get there.
What I say to you?
All right. There's another thing. That's cool. Guys. Don't look funny. All right. There's another thing. Big Bang, science, everything. They believe this. Chaos created order. Really? Makes sense? Chaos creates order. Now, how many of you are order people? Like, you are very clean, you're very neat. Alright. How is your room? Let me ask you guys, how is your room? No. Like, I'm not talking to everyone. For those who say, I'm very neat, I'm very ordered, I'm very,
It's organized.
organized. If you are so, your stuff are going to be like that. If it's not, then you're not really ordered. You're less a mess than everyone else, but not organized. Alright, let me put it the other way. How many of you guys are a mess? How's your room?
Dirty.
A mess, right?
Organized.
How's your car? A mess. Why? Because that's just how you are. So, the world, if you just forget about bait, alright? Forget about your room. Forget about your needs. Zoom out. Take a look to the universe. Take a look to the world itself. It's a perfect machine. Everything works and is for a purpose. Why the sun is so far away? Why do we have the atmosphere with so much elements in so much proportions? How many of you have heard or read? If our planet will be, there's inclination on the planet, you knew that? If it would be inclined a little bit more, a little bit less, there will be no world. Do you know that? If our world, our planet, will be a little bit closer to the sun, we'll be fried. Do you know that? Everything is done on purpose. Certain parts of the earth are cold, certain parts of the earth are warm, certain parts of the earth are higher, are lower. Everything has a reason. Why? Because it balances itself so life can exist. How many planets are in our solar system?
9.
How many have life?
1.
3.
No.
Now,
That's no. You don't know about parts.
now, people are still looking. All right, focus, guys, focus. People are still looking for life on the moon. Other than Transformers, is there life around there?
Yeah.
No.
E.T.
Mars. Like, dude, we haven't actually came up with a single life form out there.
They have micro.
Yeah, we believe in UFOs, and yeah, there are some funny videos where everything is moving around and you don't get to see nothing, but there was something right there, right? Really? Is there something? Yes, ma'am.
If there is no life in the moon, then how does it find ice that used to be water?
Ice don't mean it's life.
All right, yes. Once again, is there life? I'm not talking if there was ice, rocks, is there life as we know it?
No.
Why there is life here, guys? Because everything is perfect for life. Science, and I love science, really. And I'm kind of a geek. I love science shows. I love space shows. I love funny stuff in Jupiter and all the other planets. And man has been looking for a planet where life can be supported. I remember, like 15 years ago, they thought that there was this moon in Jupiter called Europe. They thought like that is close to Earth conditions. Maybe we can reproduce life over there. Huh? No, Europe. Titan is just a bunch of volcanoes. Europe was the moon in Jupiter that they think can reproduce life if they change something. They were finding some other places, oh, okay, maybe we can actually reproduce life here. But there isn't. You're trying to make something. Right, here there is life. And it's not chaos. Everything has a purpose. We, mankind, have been messing around with the earth, and we have been introducing chaos. There was no chaos. So, how come a perfect machine was built out of chaos? It doesn't work like that. Another. No designer created something perfectly designed. Same thing I'm just saying. Our planet is perfectly designed. Your body, even, I know you get sick sometimes, it's perfectly designed. That comes from a designer. It's not random, guys. If it would be random, and I know some of you might think it is random, there would be life on other planets. We would be able to leave something in our bedroom and find something living in our bedroom in about a month. And bugs are not random. Alright? There's a lot of science in which they actually go through this whole thing, like there is a perfect design. And they, they think about it. And they agree on that. Now, on intelligent material created, which is intelligent. I bet you, have you read How Are We Composed? Like, we have so much of this element, so much. Alright, I dare you guys. Go grab all of those elements and create a human being. I dare you. You know how many times they have been able to do that on the lab?
Why?
0.
Now maybe creating the
Yeah. But they don't go to Walmart and buy 5 grams of this, 5 grams. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that.
How many does it work?
Huh?
Now, what you lobby or whatever, the one that participated in the data,
Okay,
it
once
died.
again. No, but even that, they cloned. Did they get it out of nothing? What did they use?
The DNA of it didn't have a soul. So it's like really,
And if it, I don't, like really, that's a pretty cool point. I don't know if it had a soul or not. If it was the Dolly's Devil's flavor, I don't know. But that's not the point. Like, they didn't create it out of nothing. They use something already made. They just multiply it. So, once again, can we actually create human matter out of impersonal matter? Have you ever been able to, how many of you like to play or used to like to play with Play-Doh? One of those monitos, did they ever came alive?
Yeah.
You wish it did.
Stop smoking that, man.
But like a little. Put a bug in there. And it starts moving.
That's not Play-Doh, man. That's bugs. Alright? Matter doesn't create a soul. Matter doesn't create mind. The unintelligent cannot create intelligence. It cannot. That which is unintelligent, a rock cannot create. A rock cannot create a. I know it's so funny. What are you talking about? I know I'm giving stupid examples. It's on purpose. Sometimes we base our whole faith around science, which has never been able to prove anything. It's a bunch of theories, a upon theories upon theories, hypothesis upon hypothesis. They haven't been able to actually figure anything out. Do you know how that works? Like, if we take this for granted, then this will be this. Yeah, the problem is if we take this for granted. But have you proved this? No. Okay, then how that works? You understand that? And people prefer to believe in that which we call science than anything else. And it's still not real. And you will see about that in a minute. Now, they say that the transition from one species to another happened in a long period of time. The problem is that there are no transitions in fossil records within time. How many of you like fossils, dinosaurs, and all that? I like them. I like to believe there are dinosaurs. There were dinosaurs.
We got proof too.
Yeah, that's not the point. The problem here is this. They think, oh yeah, we evolved from this to there. But they don't have all the puzzles to prove it.
After dinosaurs is still like a blank period.
There is nothing. That's the point. There is nothing.
Yeah, that's basically that's why he was talking.
So at the end of the day, it requires faith to believe that because there is no evidence. So you still need faith. But people just say, oh, I have faith in science. Makes
I don't
sense?
like science.
That's cool. That's not the point. I'm not trying to tell you don't like science or not. That's not the point. Science is helpful. Science is needed. That's not the point.
So then why do they say if they know that it's not true? They don't have proof.
We'll get that too. Alright, here's the thing. Despite of numerous efforts, within the last 100 years, evolution has not been replicated. And believe me, they have tried. They just haven't been able to do it. There are people trying to reproduce the Big Bang. They haven't been able to. People are trying to create evolution. They haven't been able to. But we still believe in it. Or they still want us to believe in it. They say the earth is eternal. It has always been here. Which, by the way, contradicts the Big Bang theory, which is science belief. And it contradicts the second law of thermodynamics. I don't know if you have read about thermodynamics laws or not, but maybe you will sometime. With no beginning, there will be no time because we wouldn't have any reference point. Right? We always need a reference point. I'll see you in 7 days. Alright, 7 days starting when? From today? Oh, okay. We always need a reference point. Right? Our classes have a reference point. Everything we do has a reference point. This will expire in 10 days. From when? Since it was created. Alright, I'm going to get to one of those interesting parts. Here's the thing with atheistic evolution and atheism in general. It produces lack of hope, which is the same as despair. It just does. This guy, N.T. Wright, declares, those who don't hold the idea that we come from God to maintain a relationship with Him and that at the end we will go back to Him, their end result is suicide. One of the most famous, philosophers, Friedrich Nietzsche. Anyone know about him? Nietzsche? Super famous guy. Am I saying it wrong? Nietzsche? Nietzsche? The German guy? Alright, him. You have heard of him, obviously. Now, how did he end? He's a guy who has this line, God is dead. That is his most famous quote. God is dead. Do you know how he ended up? killing himself. Crazy, killing himself. Most atheists, I'm not saying everyone, okay? Don't take my words out of it. Most of them end up crazy or suicidal. They just do. Why? Guys, they have no hope.
Atheists are the ones that don't believe.
About God.
Yeah. And they are. But the bottom line, they think we're just random. And it's sad to think that way, honestly. If you come from nowhere and you go nowhere, if there is no purpose in life, and life is painful and meaningless, you just get over it. Then why am I here? What's the point of all of this? And that's why they end up killing themselves at one point or another. That's what you want for your life? I'm just saying, like, in general. There was one of these famous atheists, Bertrand Russell declares, only, just listen to this quote. To me it makes no sense, but look, only on the firm foundation of unyielding despair can the soul's habitation henceforth be safely made. Really? You want me to read it again? Only on the firm foundation of unyielding despair can the soul's habitation henceforth be safely made. That's so romantic, right? Like,
What does it
really?
mean?
As for this guy, he thinks the best way to found your life, or the best way to give you foundation for the rest of your life, is despair, hopelessness. Only that way is the good way. It just doesn't even make sense. Putting that word next to the other, it's just like, what are you talking about, guy? Richard Dawkins, not Steve Hopkins, okay? Richard Dawkins, famous atheist, declares the following: I don't feel depressed about it, but if someone does, that's their problem. Maybe the logic is pessimistic. The universe is bleak, cold, and empty. But so what? What? Really?
He sounds depressed.
Exactly! He does. Cool. But really, is that? Yeah, I think my life sucks. And I don't know.
Is he emo?
I don't know. Nobody loves me. I don't love anyone. I'm the happiest guy alive.
Bipolar.
Like, really? Really? Honestly, really?
He seems like one of those fat guys just sitting there watching TV.
Alright. All of you who love science, this is taken from Scientific American, alright? Scientific Magazine. This was quoted in August 1954 by a Nobel Prize winner in biology named George Wald. Listen to these, please. Try to keep up with me. When it comes to the origin of life, we have only two possibilities as to how life arose. One is spontaneous generation or rising to evolution. Alright, that's one. The other is a supernatural creative act of God. There is no third possibility. Alright? It's just either God or randomness. Spontaneous generation was scientifically disapproved 100 years ago by Louis Pasteur, Spallanzani, Reddy, and other scientists. Alright? Since 1854, it was disapproved, guys. That leads us scientifically to only one possible conclusion: that life arose as a supernatural creative act of God. So far it sounds like, okay, so he believes God did this. No, he didn't. I will not accept that philosophically. because I don't want to believe in God. I'm going to repeat that. I will not accept that philosophically. Why? Because I don't want to believe in God. It's not I can't. I don't want to. Therefore, I choose to believe that in that which I know scientifically impossible. Spontaneous generation arising to evolution. Guys, this is a Nobel Prize winning guy in biology. This is a super smart guy. Super smart. Nobel winning guy. And do you hear his words? Scientifically, we already know that's impossible. This is a science guy, and this is a science magazine. And he's saying, like, we already know that is impossible. So the only option is God actually did it, but I refuse to believe it. I refuse. Is that a smart thing to do? I leave that up to your judgment. But really. So what other alternatives are to God's creation? Where do you come from determines why you are here and where you're headed to. Now, this really matters. What do you believe? It matters. Because it will point, where are you going to, guys? That's why we're trying to, do all of this. Because it really matters where you're going to be in the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Romans 1, 18 all the way to 32 talks about creation. It's really long. I'm not going to read it because we don't have enough time. But please, when you get home, try to read this for you on your own. Romans 1, 18, 32. I'm going to post it on Facebook later on so you can actually get there and read it. He talks about creation. Do yourself a favor and read that. Read that and come to your own conclusions. But please, read it, guys. There are a few alternatives. Paganism. According to what we have read so far, we can only choose. I'm going to believe in the lie or I'm going to believe in the truth. It's your choice, guys. I cannot force you to believe anything. I'm just telling you, here are the facts. What do you want to believe? But there are not too many options. Now, there are a few philosophies out there. Oneism is actually very popular. Oneism says it's all a circle. Hakuna Matata. Alright? We are all part of one source. We are all God. We are all part of the same source. The force, everything. There are no difference. There are no ranks, no hierarchy, no moral. There is no good and evil. And pantheism believes everything in the world is divine. The tree is divine. A bug, don't kill the bug. That is part of the divine. Alright. No, believe me, there are wicked people who prefer to save a tree than to save a life. If they have a dying baby and a tree, they prefer to save the tree than a baby. That is sick. I'm not kidding, guys. There are people like that. That's why they prefer to, I don't know, do stupid things. There's really people
Like nature people?
Yes. Pantheism. The world as we know it contains God in it. God is in everything. That cockroach, don't kill it because God is in that cockroach. There's people like that. Really. Have you seen Avatar?
The what?
Avatar.
Oh yes.
I love that movie. But the idea in the movie is demonic. That's the truth. Yeah. And by demonic, I mean, the devil is in it. It just, basically demonic means anti-God. That's what demonic. Don't get freaked out by the word. Yeah.
So they go against. Oh yeah.
I mean, that's just like, okay,
Oh, the
God,
soul.
devil. Demonic, I'm not saying, when I say demonic, I don't mean there's a devil possessing you. I'm not saying that. It's just anti-God, guys. That's all. That's true. Materialism, all creation is the same. There is no distinction. Once again, That's why people are more freaked out about the nature than a person. And I'm not saying it's bad to be conscious and friendly, eco-friendly. It's not bad. But there are, limits and lines that we should go through. Environmental activism and the world atheism. Again, they believe there is no moral. So, to them, it's the same to kill a human than to kill a tree. Boy, pay attention. It's the same for them. It's the same to kill a dog than to kill a baby. Do you believe that is the same, guys?
No.
I'm not saying it's good. Go ahead and kill puppies. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, if you have to save a puppy and you have to save a baby, please go for the baby. Please. Also, there is no sexual difference. There is no good and evil. There's just one big religion. Everything is the same. There's just one spirituality, one divinity. Dalai Lama once said, we used to believe there was two. Like they used to believe there was God and humans. Now we know we are one. God, guys, I love myself pretty much. Ask my wife. I love myself pretty much. But I don't think I'm God. I really don't. I don't care how cool you are. You're as wicked as you can be. You're not even close to God. Star Wars, The Lion King, Avatar, and a lot of culture is trying to teach us that yeah, we are the same, we are connected. No, we're not. I mean, yeah, there's community, there's friendship, but if something hurts you, it's not gonna hurt me. That's the truth. If a tree is dying, I'm not dying inside. I'm not. And we have truism. Give me 1 minute. Just finish and do that. Truism makes different. There is God. There is creation. God is independent. We depend on God. Contrary to oneism, God gives us redemption. God gives us salvation. It doesn't come from us. It comes from Him. I cannot save myself. I'm already doomed. I don't have the magic words to save myself. I need a Savior. I need to be redeemed. Outside of God, everything lacks purpose. That is why He came to rescue us, deliver us from the lie of the world that wants us to believe. He created us and redeemed us. In Him we have a purpose, origin, and destiny. Once again, you can believe whatever you want to believe. I cannot force you to believe anything. All I want you to know is like, just don't go for what the world tells you we have to go. Because it's popular, because it's culture, because it's cool, because there is a movie about it. Don't be that easy, guys. Really. Revelation 4:11 says, you are worthy, O Lord our God, to receive glory and honor and power. For you created all things, and they exist because you created what you please. Once again, I'm not forcing you to believe anything. I'm just telling you, don't be so naive. I know the standard is, hate church, church is stupid, God is stupid, Christianity is stupid and boring. We're just a bunch of nobodies telling you to sing la, 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 and be happy. No, it's not about that, guys. It's not about that. Honestly, it's not. Though it's cool to sing from time to time, because it makes the day better. But not really. Seriously,
haunting me.
in all seriousness, it's not. Once again, check this guy out. The one we read a few slides back. Science has been proved wrong. I love science. I love science. Science is good for a lot of things, but honestly, don't. When it comes to your soul, when it comes to your spirit, when it comes to your life, don't put your hopes in science. Science is weak. Science is weak. How many of you have heard? Oh, we found that if you eat more of this, it's going to help you to prevent cancer. 5 years later, oh, don't eat that because we found out that actually improves cancer. No. Eat this. Later on, no, those two are wrong. We found out something different. Science is always changing their mind. Why? Really, I know they look pretty smart. All the, data, all the classes and all that, they're not really that smart. Why? Why? Because science really is assumption upon assumption. That's how they build their whole cases. Theory upon theory upon theory upon theory. But what if the first one was wrong? Have you ever wondered that? Once again, that's all I had to say. What were you going to ask for?
About the movie thing, how to say it? Like, I don't think the authors try to do it to persuade us about the two worlds and stuff. I think they just do it for.
Yeah. I'm not saying. Once again, I love the movie. Don't get me wrong. I love theater. I love it. I love movies. The weirdest the movie is, the more I love it. Really, that's me. I'm not saying don't go to the movies, don't watch movies. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying, yeah, really. Not even French, which I love French. But that's not the point. Truth is, in the world, the culture is telling you to be a certain way. MTV is shouting at you, be a certain way. Artists, music is telling you, be a certain way. Be dirty. Yeah, get it on. That's the cool thing. No, it's not. It's really not. Be alone. Put yourself into a box and don't talk to anyone. That's cool right now. Yeah, the more mysterious you are, that's better. Guys, you need friendship. If you isolate yourself, you're going to die alone. That might sound cool right now. Believe me, 50 years from now, you're going to think that is cool at all. You're not. Once again,